Further, Mahamati said, "It is told by the Blessed One, again, that true knowledge is gained independent of any object supporting it, and whatever statements one makes about it are no more than thought construction, and that as this thought construction is not to be seized as real, the seizing act of the seizer itself ceases. And when there is thus no seizing, knowledge which is known as discrimination no more evolves. Now, Blessed One, how is transcendental knowledge unobtainable? Is it unattainable because of our not recognizing the generality and individuality of things, their pluralities, their unities? Or is it unattainable because such ideas as individuality, generality, multiplicity, and self-nature overpower one another? Or is it unattainable because of the obstructions presented by a wall, a mountain, an earthwork, a rampart, or by earth, wind, water, or fire? Or because of remoteness or nearness? Or does the knowledge fail to obtain its object of cognition because of the imperfection of the sense organs due to youth, age, or blindness? If, Blessed One, knowledge was not obtainable because of our not recognizing individuality, generality, unity, and plurality, then, Blessed One, such cannot be transcendental knowledge. It is to be called ignorance, for in spite of the fact that objects to be known are before us, we do not know them. Again, if knowledge is unobtainable because such ideas as individuality, generality, multiplicity, and self-nature overpower one another, such is ignorance. Blessed One, it is not transcendental knowledge. Where there is something to be known, Blessed One, knowledge evolves. Where there is nothing, none evolves. Knowledge is possible only where there is a correspondence with that which is known. Again, if knowledge is unobtainable because of the obstruction presented by a wall, mountain, earthwork, rampart, or by earth, water, wind, or fire, or due to farness or nearness, or on account of the imperfection of the sense organs, as in the case of an infant, the aged, and the blind, such as is unattainable is not transcendental knowledge. It is ignorance, for the object to be known is there, but the knowing faculty is lacking. Said the Blessed One, Mahamati, such knowledge as is unattainable is not ignorance. Such is transcendental knowledge. Mahamati, it is not ignorance. It is not because of the deeper sense that I say this, but when we know that there is knowledge gained independent of any supporting object, whatever statements we make about it are no more than thought constructions. That transcendental knowledge is unobtainable is due to the recognition that there is nothing in the world but what is seen of the mind, and that these external objects to which being and non-being are predicated are non-existent. As this knowledge is unobtainable, there is no evolving of knowing and known, and as thus the triple emancipation is realized, there is unattainable knowledge which is transcendental. But logicians, being under the habit energy of the wrong reasoning which has been carried out since beginningless time as to existence and non-existence, are unable to know all this, and, while not knowing it, they are concerned with such notions as external objects, substances, forms, indications, existence, and non-existence. And yet they declare that the cessation of discrimination is the state of the mind only. As they are tenaciously clinging to the thought of an ego soul and all that belongs to it, they are really unable to understand what is meant by the doctrine of mind only, and they go on discriminating, knowing, and known. And because they're discriminating knowing and known, they think of things as existent and non-existent. And declaring that transcendental knowledge is unobtainable, they abide in nihilism. So it is said. If transcendental knowledge fails to see an objective world which lies before it, such is ignorance and not knowledge. This teaching belongs to the logicians. If transcendental knowledge fails to see, through various obstructions far and near, its own unique object that does not present itself as an object, such is to be called wrong knowledge. If transcendental knowledge fails to know, on account of defective senses such as infancy, old age, and blindness, its own object, which is present, such is to be called wrong knowledge.